Hey guys, WhaleTits here, dragging in with me another SotIS Hero Spotlight, this time featuring the Toximancer.Vespus, also known as... What is this green poop all over my hero? Oh, I'm dead? Derp. Bleh. Bleh. Let's start as always with an overview of Toxi's skill. Toxi's heroic passive, from dying to flying, has to be one of the trollier passives in the entire game, tied perhaps with Unix's anal leakage and Boros's what the hell I thought I got away with 10 HP burning blade. This passive, you'll note, is great for last second escapes, and synergizes perfectly with his suite of slows and an AoE ult that he must keep enemies trapped in to actually do anything with. Toxi's Q, Venomous Reflux, or as I call it, projectile vomit, is a cone AoE that deals an okay amount of instantaneous damage, but its main features are a 15-second long damage over time and a 50% movement speed slow for 2 seconds. This skill is great for early game harass, and I, Freak, take it at level 1 and max it first. Toxi's W, Mephitic Armor, is a single target buff to yourself or allies, granting physical resist and health regen, as well as applying an attack speed debuff on any enemies foolish enough to attack you when you have this buff active. It's on a 15-second cooldown but lasts for 60 seconds, and is therefore an excellent team support skill. Note that you can also cast it on buildings. This is intended. It will provide the building with bonus physical resist, as well as health regen. It also has the effect of making a hero look like he has a tumor. But, I guess even Toxi's buffs must look disgusting. I take this skill at level 2, and I max it second, as it offers great laning sustain. Toxi's E, Noxious Fumes, grants him a passive on-hit poison that deals a minor amount of damage over time, and a movement speed slow. Not nearly as potent as in 3.0, I take this skill third, and I max it last. It does help in laning harass, and in peeling tanks off of allied heroes, or slowing down a fleeing enemy to get a few more hits off or stalling for cooldown, but otherwise, don't expect to kite people effectively with this skill. Finally, Toximancer's ult, Toxic Tornado, is an 8-second long, swirly, green storm that applies a stack of poison damage over time to all targets within it for every second that they're in it, stacking up to 6 times. As with all ults, I take this skill every level that I can. Note that this ult cannot deal fatal damage, but makes up for that by dealing a lot of damage. It also takes 6 seconds before its damage output actually peaks, and the damage you deal will linger for much longer than the ult itself. I use this as I charge into a teamfight, queuing as many enemies as I can, and hugging them to keep them within my ult. For talents on Toximancer, I run my standard 0-11-14 build, focusing on tankiness and a strong early game, as Toxi is most vulnerable before he gets his ult and some substantial spell vamp. There are a few special modifications, however, to this build, specific to Toxi. I take Merit over Enduring Pulse, as I will be doing enough AoE damage with my R and Q to assist on every kill in a teamfight, and my W makes up for the health regen anyways. Likewise, I will take Brainstorm over Commitment, so that in laning, I will never have any mana problems, and I'll be able to spam my Q twice a wave and use my W on any allies and myself and my tower consistently. Finally, do note that Savvy is an absolute must on Toxi. For item build on Toxi, I build around his ult, starting with a Duran's Pendant, if I'm going mid, so that I can have the early energy regen to spam my Q on the wave and push it hard. Or if I'm side laning with another hero, I would like to get the Ehon Crystal combo where one hero grabs a Sustainer and the other grabs a Space Battery, with the hero grabbing a Space Battery also buying a Field Radar kit. This allows for a lot of early game sustain with a 3 health regen aura and an energy regen aura as well as rune control with that Field Radar, and gank immunity. Following that, I tend to grab myself a Duran's Buckler for the extra health boost early game. It's very useful and it'll help you survive long enough to channel your ult. After that, I will rush 2 Vampiric Amulets before I even finish buying my boots, just because the spell leech is key to this hero's survivability, whereas for move speed, I can slow them enough and I can escape generally with my passive that it's not that big of an issue. Eventually I will build these vampiric amulets into sunflare guns, but not until I've bought the rest of my items, as the benefit I gain is very marginal for the cost, where it's more than twice as expensive, but only gives me 5% more spell leech. Following the vampiric amulets, I will buy Void Scepters, which will offer me survivability and move speed, and then Nitrogen Retrofit, which will give me even more health, a little bit more damage, and most importantly, it'll slow everyone in my ult. From there, I have a choice of items to grab. I can either get up higher, if I feel the enemy is very tanky, and we need to be able to focus down someone who has a lot of health, or I will grab a Superheated Mantle if I feel I'm a little too squishy and need a little bit of extra damage, or if I feel like I need a lot of extra damage, I can just opt for an Argus Crystal. For my last item, I always get Ehon Crystal because it extends my ult from 8 seconds to 16, because I can reset it, and that basically means that I will live for 8 more seconds in the teamfight, because once that ult ends, my god, you are going to die. Fly, Toxi, fly! Ah! Ah! Oh god! Fly faster! Derp. Derp. Ah! Whoa, whoa, OP. During laning phase with Toximancer, I make sure to Q the wave as soon as possible, preferably catching an enemy hero in it. The idea behind this is that by the end of the creep wave, my Q will be up again, and I can once again tag the enemy heroes with a 15-second long damage over time. Likewise, I keep my W off of autocast, because this early on in the game, I can't afford to waste the mana casting it on creeps. So now on to the part that's actually fun to watch, how to teamfight with Toxi. I see that the creep wave is spawning, which is to my advantage since I've built spell vamp, so I'm completely ready to initiate. We have Levy and we're pushing, and so we tell Brax, our micro, to go and initiate for us. And immediately I try to go in and, oh, well, I'm dead. Double kill. Well then. On to take 2. Alrighty, let's try that one again. This time we caught Electress, who is their Cypress out of position, and so we're going to engage even though we don't have Levy buff. I run in there, I see the creep wave, I ult, and my team abandons me. But have no fear, I have spell vamp. That's right, 1v4 at their tower. A little better this time. A little better. Holy WhaleTits. In this scene, I notice that they're pushing our bottom tower. 4-man, first 3, and I'm making my way over. And our Zeratul stalls them with his ult, and I immediately hit my ult and get into the middle of them all, right here. And then I warp frag to stay ahead of them, so keep them in my ult, netting us 1 kill, and soon to be 2 kill. In this fight here, we're trying to push their T2 mid tower, and our LZ will initiate by charging in to all of them, and they're already fleeing for some reason. I'm going to warp frag in and ult, catching all 4 of them in my ultimate, just standing there soaking up a lot of damage because I can with my lifesteal. I will fall fairly low here, getting trapped in my friendly Zeratul's ult, and then my LZ decides to do some silly stuff. But I'll return back in and provide my amazing crowd control, slowing down Juan, almost getting us a kill. Note that by now my health is almost full already. Once again, the magic of lifesteal. And I'll speed this up. We'll escape this fight, pushing them back into their base, and then take their mid tower. One thing you'll notice as Toxi is that once you grab your first vampiric, between your Q, your W, and your R, you're practically impossible to push out of lane. In between every creep wave, or actually because of every creep wave, you can get full health back with 1 Q, for the most part. Another thing you'll notice is that Toximancer is a fairly hard counter to Shadow. He comes in, drops his ult, all I have to do is press R, and Master Law is dead. And I'm at full health because I was taking a bath in their tower. Wait, that doesn't make sense. Oh well. Spell vamp. What's that? You say I am out of position? I don't think so. What is this position? I don't believe in position. My whole team is not here. I don't care. Wait for it. Double. Triple kill! One downside that you will need to be aware of as a Toxi player is that despite the massive amount of damage you're doing, yes, 1v3 behind their base tower, you can't actually kill anyone. Or at least, it's rather hard for you to kill anyone. In summary, that is how you play Toximancer.Vespus. Do note, however, that in this spotlight, I used footage from various different replays that show Toxi at different stages. In this one, his ult dealt double the amount of damage that it currently does in the open. However, each stack of poison only lasted half as long. So, I mean, like, technically, it does the same amount of damage. It ramps up a little faster, so you can be a little more aggressive with your ult and rely on it for spell vamp, but otherwise it's the same. 8-0-10. 18 of the kills on the team out of 20. Yeah, that seems legit. GG. Peace out. Till next time. During laning phase, I make sure that I get... Fap. Fap it is. Thank you for that wonderful contribution, roommate. You're very useful. You're very useful to my life.
You're gonna keep that?
Fuck you.
You should make bloopers.